All right, let's bring in Dan Palmer, GOP financier and contributor to The Hill, and Richard Goodstein, a Democratic strategist and former Clinton advisor. Thank you both for coming on. Happy Thanksgiving to you, or
to you,
day
Julie,
after.
as well.
All right, Richard, what do you make of the president's comments when he says he supports immigrants coming here, he just supports them if they get in the legal way?
He better support them. That's who's staffing Mar-a-Lago. Look, it is, first of all, as regards this whole notion of using lethal force, coming into the United States of America is not a capital crime. What Donald Trump is trying to do is keep his base involved, keep people scared. As your own Shep Smith said, there's no invasion, nobody has anything to worry about. But Donald Trump wants you to think differently. Look, remember, his signature promise was to build the wall and have Mexico paid for it. We now know Mexico is not paying for it. He just did a NAFTA deal where that didn't even come up. And now it looks like he may be willing to shut down the whole federal government to get a border wall funded that even most Republicans don't think is sensible. So I just think he's trying to engage in scare tactics. It's the caravan and immigrants today. It'll be terrorists tomorrow. And we'll see this for the next 2 years. As we saw when the Democrats won 40 seats this time, I don't think it's going to work.
Well, Dan, I mean, okay, so he mentioned scare tactics, but there's got to be some kind of, I don't know, precedent set or some sort of deterrent, because we can't just open our borders and let floodgates of illegal migrants come in. At what point do you put the stop on that? So, I mean, the overpopulation issue alone, let alone the humanitarian issue and the quality of life for all of these people and the burden it causes our economy. I mean, the list goes on and on. The president has authorized, though, Dan, border troops to use lethal force, quote, if they have to stop migrants from entering the country. What does he mean by that?
Well, I think one of the fundamental obligations of the sovereign government of the United States is to protect its borders. I mean, it starts no sooner than in the preamble to the Constitution. So the president is merely fulfilling the duties and obligations of the chief executive. I think that Richard and the establishment of the Democratic Party and some in the Republican Party are really behind and lagging the broad consensus already developed amongst the American people. Over 80% of the American people believe in legal immigration, but at the same time do not believe in illegal immigration. So it really is not controversial out in the country. It's just hard for the establishment to act.
Okay. Richard, what do the Democrats want to do when it comes to our border crisis?
Good question.
If this doesn't happen come January, border wall funding, which, I mean, realistically, I doubt it.
Right.
I mean, do Democrats just want to open the borders, or
of course
obviously
not.
they want to control? How do you
Julie,
control? What's their idea to control it?
I think you and everybody else who talks about open borders knows that's just talk. The Democratic policy was embedded in a bill that passed the Senate in 2013. With 68 votes, including noted liberals like Orrin Hatch and Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham, that called for, yes, border security and a path to citizenship and legalization, and making sure employers didn't willy-nilly hire illegal immigrants. I mean, this was passed by 68 votes in the Senate and would have passed the House had the Speaker brought it up, which he didn't because the Republicans controlled, even though almost every Democrat and a lot of Republicans would have voted for it. That's where Democrats are. It's not complicated, and it's not open borders. I think it's actually shameful when people who aren't partisans say that, because it's just not true.
Okay, but nonetheless, if you don't block the border, which, again, I don't believe the Supreme Court is going to allow the president to do that,
You don't shoot them when they come across the border. That's not right.
Here's the question. They're not armed, are they, Dan?
No, the whole rhetoric around this, Richard, is so inappropriate. You know, basically we have a set of laws, we have a sovereign border, we have the means to protect the border, and you believe it's more important to have a porous border. And I think that that's gross mismanagement of the federal government. It's inappropriate. And I think the American people are sick and tired of the divisive rhetoric around this issue.
Jennifer Griffin just clarified that these troops are acting as backup to law enforcement. Most are not armed.
Right.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have.
You know, I think that. All right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm getting a wrap here, but I appreciate you both coming on and talking about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.